It's official. The motorhome market just crashed.
I'm here at Johnny Walker RV, and if you're thinking about hitting the open road this summer in a camper like this, will it cost you more money?
Over 3 million motorhomes were dumped into the market as refund demands exploded, and dealers slashing prices just to survive. 11 once premium models, Winnebago, Tiffin, Jayco, now selling for pennies on the dollar. Auction lots are overflowing, banks are calling loans, and dealers are panicking. What was worth $100,000 last year is barely fetching $30,000 today. And if you own or plan to buy a motorhome, here's what this collapse really means for you and your wallet. Number 11. Winnebago Mini Winnie. They called it the dependable family hauler. The Winnebago Mini Winnie, built between 2012 and 2017, carried the image of a modest, trustworthy motorhome. Back then, it symbolized freedom at a reasonable price. But today, that same coach has become the face of a correction nobody wants to talk about. Walk through any regional auction yard this month, and you will see them lined up, one after another. Units once retailing near $50,000 are now struggling to attract bids over $22,000. Some sit unsold even at $21,500. It is not neglect causing this. It is overproduction. During the pandemic surge, rental fleets bought these by the hundreds. Families leased them for stay-at-home vacations, and factories ran non-stop to fill orders. But those leases are ending all at once. Thousands are now returning to the market simultaneously. A flood of identical coaches, same floor plan, same color, same mileage. That glut is crushing prices. Dealers call it inventory normalization, but it is really financial triage. Many have floor plan loans on every unit, each one bleeding interest at roughly $500 a month. Selling fast, even at a loss, keeps their credit lines alive. The Ford chassis remains solid, parts are abundant, and service records are easy to verify. Yet, hidden moisture in the cab over seams can turn a bargain into a rebuild. Inspect before you celebrate, because the Mini Winnie proves one thing. In a market built on borrowed optimism, even the family favorite can fall first. If the household classic is drowning, wait until you see the rental legend that followed it straight down the same spiral. Number 10. Thor 4 wins. Some collapses announce themselves quietly. This one rolled in like a storm. The Thor 4 wins, built between 2015 and 2020, was once the rental fleet's money machine. You saw them everywhere. White fiberglass shells, blue swooping decals, and the same dependable Ford V10 engine under every hood. Simple, functional, familiar. That sameness was its greatest strength, and ultimately, its downfall. When rental companies expanded during the lockdown years, they ordered these by the truckload. The logic was simple: fewer parts to fail, easier to maintain, faster to flip. But those contracts had expiration dates, and they are all coming due together. The result is thousands of identical 4 Winds coaches hitting liquidation at once. Auction reports from Indiana, Florida, and Texas show the pattern. A 2019 model that once carried a retail tag near $49,000 just cleared the block at $22,800. Another failed to sell at $23,000 even. The supply is overwhelming. Dealers cannot compete with banks and fleet repos flooding the lanes. Mechanically, these rigs remain strong: the chassis, the drivetrain, the core structure. But heavy rental use leaves scars: soft roofs, worn slide seals, generators idling thousands of hours past their comfort zone. For the careful buyer, those details separate a surviving coach from a slow-motion liability. The 4 Winds stands as proof that repetition kills value. When too many identical units chase too few buyers, even a trustworthy workhorse becomes a disposable asset. And if the rental fleets are already surrendering their anchors, the next one shows what happens when luxury builders start doing the same. Prestige models losing altitude faster than anyone predicted. If you've already spotted prices crashing near you, drop a comment below. Hit that like button so this warning reaches more owners before they lose thousands in silent markdowns. Number 9. Fleetwood Bounder. Every market correction needs a symbol, and this time it wears a polished chrome badge that once stood for American touring pride: the Fleetwood Bounder. Built between 2011 and 2016, this Class A coach was the rolling definition of middle-class luxury. Big footprints, real hardwood cabinetry, the kind of machine families used to park beside lakes and call home for the summer. But that pride is now parked at auction. Coaches that sold new for more than $120,000 are showing up on government surplus sites for under $30,000. One listing in Arizona, a 2014 model with 49,000 miles, was marked open bid at $28,500. That is not depreciation. That is surrender. What happened? The same forces breaking the entire motorhome sector: expensive fuel, tightening insurance, and the vanishing of cheap credit. Owners cannot justify filling 100-gallon tanks at $5 a gallon when campground fees doubled. Dealers cannot float six-figure inventory when banks demand faster repayment. The Bounder, once a safe bet, became collateral. Structurally, it still earns respect. The Ford chassis, the solid frame, the classic floor plans, all proven. But hidden costs lurk in the hydraulic leveling system, roof membranes, and electronics long past their warranty. One leak, one sensor failure, and the profit from a deal disappears overnight. The Bounder's fall is more than financial. It is generational. It marks the point where tradition collided with unsustainable economics. And as the big gasoline coaches fade from driveways, the spotlight turns toward their diesel cousins, lighter, thriftier, and now tumbling down the same slope with even greater force. Number 8. Tiffin Allegro Open Road. For decades, the Tiffin Allegro Open Road was a symbol of craftsmanship done right. Built between 2012 and 2017, it carried the reputation of hand-built cabinetry, thick insulation, and family-run attention to detail. Owners bragged about factory support that answered the phone on the second ring. But even the strongest names bend when the financial ground shifts beneath them. The trouble began quietly. Dealers started pulling back orders as retail loans tightened. Banks began questioning the resale math on six-figure gasoline coaches. By late summer, auctions from Georgia to Indiana were flooded with Allegro Open Roads once valued at $100,000, now struggling to clear bids over $45,000. A 2015 model that listed for $92,000 just changed hands at $42,000 even, verified in auction receipts. It is not a quality issue. The problem is leverage. Owners financed during the cheap credit years, betting the brand's reputation would protect value. When interest rates doubled, that bet collapsed. Each month of missed payment adds another repo to the stack, another clean unit dumped into circulation. Mechanically, these rigs still shine. The Ford chassis runs steady. The interiors age gracefully, but even a perfect build cannot fight market gravity. And buyers who think luxury means safe are learning that reputation does not cover depreciation. The Allegro's decline isn't a scandal. It is a mirror. It shows how confidence, even when earned, can't survive math that no longer works. And as tradition meets reality, the next story takes us from boutique craftsmanship to mass market chaos. A volume brand now learning what happens when quantity becomes its biggest liability. Number 7. River Sunseeker. Some brands never try to be glamorous, they just aim to be everywhere. The River Sunseeker, built between 2013 and 2019, became that quiet workhorse of American campgrounds. Affordable, practical, and sold in staggering numbers. It was the kind of coach you waved at on the highway because everyone knew someone who owned one. That popularity once meant stability. Now, it means oversupply. The first red flags appeared when lenders noticed duplicate VIN sequences hitting resale listings. That meant fleet offloads, hundreds of units returning at once. By late autumn, auction data from Indiana and Pennsylvania confirmed the slide. A 2016 Sunseeker that fetched $42,000 last year just traded for $25,000. Another, with less than 30,000 miles, was listed no sale at $28,000. Dealers blamed soft demand, but the truth runs deeper. Forest River's strength has always been scale. Yet in a downturn, scale becomes the anchor. High output means high carrying costs. Every unsold Sunseeker sits on a floor plan loan accumulating interest. And when those bills stack up, even solid rigs turn toxic on the balance sheet. For the buyer, this is both caution and opportunity. The chassis and drivetrain remain dependable, but roof seams, window seals, and slide-out edges are weak points. One hidden leak can erase every penny you thought you saved. Always check the upper corners for soft spots and discoloration. The Sunseeker's fall is proof that ubiquity is no longer protection. It is exposure. And if the middleweight champions are showing cracks, the next name on the list proves how even long-standing reliability can buckle when credit and confidence vanish at the same time. Number 6. Coachmen Freelander. Sometimes the most ordinary model tells the loudest truth. The Coachmen Freelander, produced from 2014 through 2019, was never flashy. It was built to be useful. A working-class motorhome on a Ford E-Series backbone. It delivered what it promised: steady travel, easy parts, low learning curve. That reliability made it a fleet favorite and a family staple. But in today's market, even good sense is bleeding value. Auction logs from Ohio, Minnesota, and Kansas show the numbers falling in unison. A 2017 Freelander that carried a dealer tag of $47,000 last spring just hammered for $26,800. Another, a former rental with 48,000 miles, cleared at $27,000 flat. Every month, the bids dip lower. The cause isn't mystery, it is math. Fleet sell-offs are stacking up. Rental programs and small dealerships that financed rows of these on floor plan credit are now offloading to cut interest costs. Each unsold unit costs roughly $500 per month in interest alone. Multiply that by dozens of coaches, and liquidation becomes survival. Mechanically, the Freelander remains sound. The engines run strong, the transmissions hold, and the maintenance is straightforward. But the interiors often show fatigue. Drawer slides wear, seals dry, decals fade. For the careful buyer, those flaws can be leverage, a reason to negotiate, not walk. The Freelander's drop isn't scandal or failure, it's timing. In a flooded market, even dependable steel bends under financial pressure, and if the reliable middle tier is tumbling, the next story moves to a design once hailed as the future. Compact luxury now learning that smaller doesn't mean safer when demand evaporates overnight. Number 5. Thor Axis and Vegas. Innovation is only valuable when the market can afford it. The Thor Axis and Vegas series, built from 2015 through 2019, were sold as the city-size Class A, short enough for neighborhood driveways, tall enough to feel like a true motorhome. For a while, that promise worked. Retirees downsizing from diesel pushers loved the footprint. Younger buyers liked the modern interiors and easy drivability. But the very features that once defined its niche now define its problem. At 25 to 27 feet, the Thor Axis and Vegas straddle two markets, too heavy for compacts, too tight for luxury. When financing tightened, that space collapsed. Auction data from Florida and Indiana shows a 2017 Vegas dropping from $82,000 to $36,000, while a 2016 Axis failed at $32,000. Structurally solid on the Ford E-Series chassis with the proven V10 engine, these rigs suffer from costly roof and slide maintenance and scarce parts. Dealers call them lateral moves, inventory caught between ambitions. For careful buyers, opportunity remains, but this design proves compromise rarely rewards anyone. And as the compact pioneers lose altitude, the next name on this list shows what happens when yesterday's prestige coach becomes today's clearance sticker. A legacy brand fighting gravity in public view. If you want to stay ahead of the next motorhome price wave, subscribe now. The next collapse is forming fast, and early knowledge could protect every dollar you've saved. Number 4. Jayco Greyhawk. Every correction has one name that surprises people, and this time, it is the Jayco Greyhawk. Built between 2013 and 2018, it earned a reputation as the dependable family upgrade, sturdier than entry-level models, quieter on the highway, and backed by a respected badge. For years, owners treated it like a safe place to park money. That illusion just cracked. Recent wholesale data from Michigan and Pennsylvania shows the turn. A 2016 Greyhawk with 28,000 miles, listed for $47,000 last fall, sold last week for $26,000 even. Another, a 2017 with a full slide, failed to meet reserve at $29,000. These are not neglected rigs. They are victims of a price war that their own success helped create. Jayco built thousands of Greyhawks during the surge, running double shifts until interest spikes and refund floods left dealers drowning in duplicates. Rising storage and loan costs turned math ruthless. Structurally strong but emotionally weakened, confidence vanished. Patient buyers waiting for February can find clean serviced units under $25,000. And as familiar family models lose their footing, the next on the list turns upscale. A motorhome that once sold on luxury now sells on desperation. Number 3. Holiday Rambler Vacationer. Prestige used to be a shield. For the Holiday Rambler Vacationer, built from 2011 through 2015, that shield just cracked. This coach was once the driveway statement. Polished fiberglass sides, quiet luxury inside, and a name that stretched back decades. Owners believed they were buying permanence, not participation in a market bubble. Now those same rigs are landing in auctions at prices that barely cover their generators. A verified listing out of Nevada shows the shift in plain numbers. A 2014 Vacationer with 43,000 miles sold last month for $29,000, down from a dealer listing of $78,000 the previous spring. Another in Indiana with a clean title and new tires failed to reach $30,000 even. That is not discounting. It is capitulation, triggered by simple economics and timing, rising insurance rates, tighter bank lending, and mass refund demands flooded trade-ins like the Vacationer into secondary lanes. Though its workhorse and Ford chassis stay strong, hidden costs, hydraulic jacks, roof reseals, electrical boards, consume savings fast. The Vacationer's fall reflects legacy colliding with leverage. As prestige brands stumble into clearance territory, the next one takes us somewhere unexpected, into the towable market, where smaller size does not mean smaller risk. Number 2. Bullet Travel Trailer. Some lessons hide in plain sight, parked behind chain link fences and faded banners that read, "Clearance." The Bullet Travel Trailer, built between 2014 and 2019, is one of those lessons. Lightweight, wind-cutting, and built for half-ton tow vehicles, it became the poster child for modern practicality. Families loved it. Dealers loved it. Banks loved financing it. But when overconfidence met oversupply, love turned into liability. Auction records from Indiana and Missouri confirm the Trail Manor 2720's quiet resilience, with 2012 models selling near $9,300 and upgraded 2013s at $10,800. Simple wood interiors, manual systems, and hand tool repairs prove it doesn't chase luxury. It delivers longevity, a genuine shield against collapse. And as small towables find their bottom, the final name on this list shows what true resilience looks like. A folding hardside survivor that refuses to bow to panic. Number 1. Trail Manor 2720. Not every survivor roars through a downturn. Some endure by staying quiet, practical, and nearly invisible. The Trail Manor 2720, built between 2008 and 2014, belongs to that rare category. It was never meant to impress the campground crowd. It was meant to protect the owner's wallet. And that mission just made it the smartest hold in today's collapsing market. When unfolded, the 2720 feels like a small home. When closed, it looks like a simple utility trailer barely taller than the IR tow vehicle behind it. That dual nature is its strength. The folding hardside construction keeps it solid against weather, while its light frame, just under 3,000 pounds, means no special hitch, no heavy-duty truck, and no punishing fuel bill. In a world where gasoline hovers near $5 per gallon, those details decide who keeps traveling and who stays parked. And as overbuilt rigs sink under their own weight, this modest folding shell quietly reminds everyone that endurance, not excess, is what truly survives. 3 million rigs dumped, prices shattered, and the dealers still pretending it's normal. But now you know the truth. Which of these 11 models surprised you the most? Tell me in the comments. I want to hear from real owners out there. If you want to stay ahead of the next Motorhomes wave, hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell, because the next video digs even deeper into what happens after the crash.